Guys, welcome to our little segment. I call this the fucking general and his prodigies fucking sideshow. With this thing, you guys have tuned into the Truth Podcast. You've tuned into some of my other segments, the General's Wise Words. This really right here is kind of a segment of the General's Wise Words, but we're not focusing on the aspects of business. We're not focusing on the aspects of that. We're just focusing really on fitness and what fitness has done in our lives. I hope you got an opportunity to tune into the last of the Truth Podcast where I broke down why I got on this journey. But focusing today, we're really going to focus on talking here back and forth and my journey of where I've started and where we're going in together. And the perspective of, I like this, right? And I don't want this, when I say these words, I don't want you fuckers out there getting pee-pee hearted, but I'm just going to use the metaphor. I want it from kind of like where they say, when Jesus walked, and I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, but how his disciples said, how did they see it? And I see like Kolohe being with me in my fitness journey and being a competitor at a high level. I mean, fucking there's nothing to talk about. What he's seen from his perspective. And like I said, if it's fucking full of shit, call me out on it. I don't give a fuck. It's just who I am. But I really want to feel like from the perspective of a fitness competitor that's been in the game, who's in the game now, of what his experience and what I've taught him and what I've not taught him, or what he should do or what he shouldn't. Like I said, I don't give two fucking cents. It's really that perspective. And so really turning it on to you, Kolohe, and, really touching on the past piece of what we talked about and, bringing the truth to fitness and, how hard it fucking is and the bullshit that I like to talk about, kind of like, what's your thoughts?
Well, One thing that I wanted to talk about, if you guys watched the last podcast, which if you haven't, you need to watch it, it's surrounding yourself with the right people. But when we talked a little bit about the joking and the bantering, and it's key to have somebody that knows the difference between everything, because when you push each other, I think some people, like you said, there's some truth to it. So if I kind of laughed at, let's say you, let's just pick someone else. And this guy over here is chubby and I'm making jokes, cracking jokes on it. And I'm like, dude, you're overweight. I don't know. You can't lift the weight that I lift. There's a difference from when me and you, when we're playing, there's no insults. Like if I said our conversations in front of Nikki, you're not going to feel offended. You're not going to feel embarrassed. It's when we talk, it's more of like a joking matter to actually push each other, where you're not going to go home and feel hurt. We go home and we're like, our muscles are hurting, not our mind or our hearts, not that we have little soft hearts and feelings, because we don't, but we're over there and it's like when we go back, and that creates us to reach to the next level, because just like how you're talking, you said, I'm going to go there and light that fire under your ass, and then in turn lights the fire under your ass. But it's more of that competitive push where we know, like, I'm going to, banter a little bit, but it's going to make him push even more. Let's see what our limits truly is versus what we think we can do versus what we really can do. And when you talked about that last podcast about that 60% of where your mind is at, like in my head, I can't tell you how many times I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Jack just did 50, but I'm going to at least try my best to try and beat his thing. And it's not of like who's better, but it's like, it's more of like a mental push. It's crazy because yes, we're physically working out, but I think we're also mentally working out at the same time, because mentally I'm like, and I'm closing my eyes. And I remember that day we were doing the triceps and I was like 51, 52, because Jack did 50. And I'm like, I just got to pass 50. That's all. And then Jack goes and beats it again. I'm like, oh man. And then mentally in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I can do it, but you don't ever know until you try. And I think that's the cool part is we're not only pushing our physical limits, but our mental limits too. A lot of people never get to reach that because they don't mentally push themselves.
Let's circle about being smart in the gym, guys. So so Kolohe talks about that. We're doing triceps. Just so you guys know, we're not doing skull crushers. We're doing fucking tricep push downs. But let's talk about like when we did the shoulder one, and and I go through this number and we're going back and forth. But we're smart enough to say, and this is where where people in fitness are just dumb as fuck. And I want you to know this. It's about consistency lifting for the rest of your life. Like me, like the great, I always use the example. Do I want to be Ronnie Coleman or do I want to be Jay Cutler? Right? Ronnie Coleman obviously is the king, but Jay Cutler's still lifting. And so we talked about one time when we're doing the shoulders and you're like, no, fucking no, I feel I could blow my shoulder here. So I'm not going to try to pass the general. It's like that smartness. Like, that's the stuff that I think people need to understand in fitness. Like, don't do stupid shit that's going to stop you from your end goal.
Yeah, it's a matter of being smart, and I think knowing when you're gonna, like, obviously you have your mental limits, but when you're gonna hurt yourself. Versus a lot of people go in there and they want to show off, and it's that, I call it the ego lifting. Like, me and you, we push each other, but I don't really care about what the fuck the next guy's looking over and saying, "Oh my god," like, he doesn't even exist. I don't even know if he's fucking there, unless he's getting a little wild. But other than that, it's us just pushing each other. It's not like, and there was that one time where we're pushing each other, and you looked at me and I'm like, "Hey, I know you got me beat. I'm not gonna even try, or I'm gonna hurt myself." So you got to know your limits too. Be smart, and obviously mentally push yourself, but also be smart about it and not let ego get to your head.
Nikki, kind of seeing you kind of on that last podcast too, talking about life, and I kind of, from your perspective, like, what have you seen in my fitness journey, Nikki? Like, what's the street cred out there? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Like, what's the thing? What are you feeling? What do you?
There's nothing to talk about is all that comes to my head, because it's literally proof. There was no talking. It's not like you weren't in shape, but you literally sculpted within minutes. We were shooting a video and you couldn't see the chair behind him. And I started laughing. I'm like, this is these are some big ass chairs. And I'm like, Jack, like, you're literally blocking the damn whole chair. I'm like, you're a big man. And you forget how big Jack is until you're literally next to the man. I had to, the whole time that I was here, I would have to run just to keep up in a walking stance with him. It was like I was running around, and just the credibility is just action, action. No matter what, he can have 20 meetings in a day, being flying to Vegas for whatever work, flying here, flying there, and he's still trained and he still was consistent. And it's just actually showing, and not to himself, not even to anybody else. We didn't even matter. We don't even have to be here to pump him up. Like, the man's going to do it whether he was alone on an island. When he set the tone in, the guy's going to do it whether someone was there to perceive it or not.
I tell people, thank goodness for my Bo headset with my ACDC, because it's over. Those fuckers go on, I'm in the zone.
I love it, though. It's inspiring. It really is, because age is just a number, and Jack, when I first started, we were talking about doing a picture, a side-by-side picture with when he was, fighting.
Oh, I remember this.
Yes. And this is when I first met Jack. I don't even think I was like working with Jack yet. Like, I was just his friend, and we were hanging out, and, and he told me that. And in my mind, I'm like, like, this guy's, there's nothing, you look around and everything he says is proof. Like, there's actually proof to the talk, no matter what. I mean, even if you're just sitting in one of anything, even in the damn office, I was impressed in the other office, but I got to see this one be built. But when he told me that, there was like just this distinct look in his eye of just truth. He spoke it into existence that moment. There was like a set tone, like it was going to happen. And it's just preparation properly. He already knew everything's a science. And that's really what I learned about Jack. It's not like, what did we used to talk about, where, when preparation meets opportunity,
timing and preparation,
time and preparation. And it just happened that way, is because he scientifically knows how the formula works. And so when you mess with the person that's just going to go off of people's perceptions or YouTube videos, or, trendy workouts, this guy's going to come from like a legit working system that has been working for millions of years, and to see it happen is just fun, And then I see you're the younger generation, and I love this. Like, it's actually really cool to see the dynamic of it. We're about the same age, maybe I'm a little bit older, but there's such a gap in era between you guys. But to see you guys together, it's really cool, because you're kind of speaking to different genres, right? And then there's this guy where I want to see, literally get you guys with some wood and some damn axe and have a workout day, because I know buff people, and a lot of people that are super buff, the core strength and the longevity of stuff is a little different, right? Because a core workout is so different from pushing some weights. And so, like, I kind of feel like we have this like magic thing with you guys, or we're gonna have to do an outside of the podcast.
You know, it's funny.
Get you guys chopping some wood.
He told me about grass cutting, and I said, Jack, we're both competitive. I said, I don't know. You go on one half of the yard, and I'll take the other half, and we'll see. I said, I used to have to do the yard work myself. I said, I know you work hard and everything, but hey, let's just put no talks. Let's leave it all aside, and let's just start cutting and see who gets to the end.
I got excited. I said,
He
"Don't worry."
does get excited.
I said, I'm bringing the big iron out. Don't worry. I told him, when the shovels come out, it ain't going to be sexy. It's the old school.
You gotta figure Jack will have like 10 youngins younger than you, and Jack will wipe them all out, you know. But see, the thing is that what I love about you is that that little challenge you did, all it did is pour some fuel on it. Because even if you could hit his capacity, Jack will go up. Like, that's just always going to be a thing. It's just exciting. So
it's going to be a race every time.
Yeah.
Every
I really
time.
can't wait for this outdoor.
Oh, trust me. I let the weeds in the basket get fucking huge. Purposely, right? And so
he's all watering the weeds.
I got these two weed eaters, right? And I'm like, I was telling Michael Montoya this, and Michael Montoya's like, he's a fucking Kolohe, doesn't know what he got himself into. He's like, I've seen you in the wood action. He's like, I said, what are you going to start? I said, we're going to start on 4 acres, Mike. I'm going to go one end. I said, we're going to get this boss here. We're going to go all the way through. And I said, what is this? It's everything. Pull the fucking weeds, rack it, put it in the truck, haul it the fuck out, put it in the bags and all that. And I put Youngmillionaires through this, and I put a lot of people through this, and they're like, holy fuck, right? Or like when I was, the whole digging the whole shit, right? The trenches, I'm like, a master digger, right? And so to me, it's not I like to do these exercises because it just helps people build commitment. And when it gets fucking hard out there and it's hot as fuck and the bugs are in your face and you do that, your mind says, fuck this, right? And it's weird because once you overcome that heat and that you roll through it and you power through it, and you just get that machine rolling. And if you go fast, you're an idiot because you're going to fucking fall over, right? It's all about that consistency. But with that said, like, this is kind of the cool thing. And I wanted kind of your perspective, and, this is some real shit. And we talk about this, people see me in the gym, and, I pride myself on being fucking grass fed, and I talk the shit because it's a facts, right? And so, I mean, Kolohe has been able to see me make some fucking gains and shit, or whatever you want to talk about. What's your perspective? Like, what comes to your mind? Like, seeing me now, as long as we've been working out together, like, what is the legend there? Does the fucking bring the legend?
Yes, the legend is there. It's funny because this is the truth. I mean, it's kind of a branch off of the Truth podcast, but it's funny because Jack's always like, I'm grass fed, and he's fully natural, and that's kind of the whole saying of the grass fed. I'm like, for me, anybody, it wouldn't be the Truth podcast unless I'm honest. A lot of people that compete, they take supplements, and I'm talking like pharmaceuticals. I take testosterone, stuff like that. But they don't realize, you see, this is one. Let's go back into this filter life thing on Instagram. Is people, and I know we were going to talk about this once. They got this protein that they're promoting, or this pre-workout, or this BCAAs, and if we're going to be honest, it's of course you need proteins, whether it's chicken, whether it's this protein from this brand or not. 25 grams of whey protein is 25 grams of whey protein. I'm just going to tell like it is. It doesn't matter what brand you're getting your shit from. But there's also other things on the back end that you don't realize. That you look at all these models, and they take stuff. And I'm going to be honest, whether it's testosterone, I mean, there's a bunch of different pharmaceuticals and anabolics and whatever that people take. Even the women, most of them do. Now, is that to say that they don't have to work hard? No, by any means, they do have to work hard. It's kind of like, I always like to tell people this, and this is what I learned back in my day when I very first started. It's kind of like the top speed to a car. Without anything, you're genetically limited to your top speed. You're genetically limited. Now you add these supplements or whatever. Now your car, from going 150, you can go to 200 miles per hour. But if you're not hitting the gas, you're not going to go anywhere. You'll never hit 200 miles per hour if you're not putting in that work, driving your car, practicing, working on your craft. Now your limitations are different. But Jax, he's fully natural, so it's different. Genetically, he's just a freak. He has no limit naturally, and he pushes the gas, so he's way up there, But coming into this, I think, telling the truth is what you see on Instagram. A lot of people are believed into this filter life that they're going to achieve this naturally and look like this or whatever. And it's not true. You're being sold dreams, unless you have somebody that's just you've done fitness all your life. That's the thing when it comes down to being in a lifestyle. This isn't just, oh, I'm gonna have Johnny come over here and work out with us,
No.
and he's gonna look like Jack and he's natural. It's not gonna happen. Jack's been doing this his whole life. His body genetically, it's just ingrained in him from when he was working in the yard. And that comes into being fit. When we're talking about fitness, if Jack wasn't healthy or physically fit, he wouldn't be able to go and mow the lawn and cut things. I guarantee I'd have Jack then if he wasn't taking care of his fitness. But he does, he's constantly active. And I think that helps him. Even just when he said he came back into the gym, he may not have been in the gym, but he was still physically working himself, whether it's in the lawn or the brick and the walls and all this other stuff. He was still out there, killing it and staying active. And I think that's a huge part for anybody that they need to do, because like when I was in, like we talked about in the last podcast, I was in the hospital and I see all these people, and I think the big part is that if you're not fit, there was a little reel that I posted the other day, but I truly believe in it, like the physically fit, because if you weren't physically fit, and the last part that it talked about was like being in a hospital bed, if you wouldn't be able to enjoy all the beauties, the hard work that you wouldn't be able to be sitting on this nice marble table that you have and enjoy the many exotic cars, too many to count, that's in there. But I mean, you wouldn't be able to enjoy it, or you'd be too tired, like, man, I got this car, and it would just sit there all day. You'd just look at it, it'd just be like an art piece, really. And you wouldn't be able to enjoy it and have fun going out and feeling all those forces. Or maybe you're just not physically fit enough that you can't slam the gas that hard because it's going to hurt your back, who knows? But I mean, you still drive that thing like you're 20 years old, 12 years old in a video game, and we're in that thing. Man, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster ride every time. I feel all the G's come. I'm ready to take off to space when we're in that thing.
I think the thing that's been kind of cool, Nikki, for you, and this is what I should tell you, is like Kolohe says, you need, supplements are good added value, but the key is when you look at my pictures, like the 5 pictures that I have, that was 100 motherfucking percent my genetic qualities, right? I never really dieted too hardcore. I had a balance, but that shows you the monster size of what I could get to, right? But with that said, right, that's it. That's the fucking deal. So if I want to come out and look like fucking Michael Hearn or fucking John Cena or fucking The Rock, because I get that, I'm gonna have to take the fucking sauce. That's just, it is what it is, right? But it's in that place. But you ask yourself, what am I getting out of it? And I think a lot of these young guys don't really know what the fuck they're getting themselves into. And then when they get to my age, they're going to fuck themselves up. And I think like there's always a short-term thing. And Kolohe has taught me a lot of this shit, which I didn't even know, right? In my days, there wasn't, you knew about like Decaderabol, and you knew about testosterone, you knew about Winstrol, and that's fucking all that I knew. But now there's this shit, NOR something, like there's so much shit that fucks your mind up, and it's fucking insane, right? And I even watch these TikToks, right, with Trenabol, and I'm like, the fuck is all this shit? But the all-term thing is really the long-term effect going to be worth the fucking short-term gain? Instead of kind of going the long way, and now you're going to do that photo shoot, like I've told models all the time, they just come to me, I said, no, they're fucking saucing it for even 7 weeks. You're off. Okay, you look like that. Probably not going to fuck you up to that. I'm not a doctor. Don't take me, fucking call me. But if you're doing that all the fucking time, there's going to be you got to pay the piper, right? No matter what the fuck it is. You either pay it up front today or you pay it on later on. And I think that the one thing is, what I don't like is I don't like people getting taken to the fucking paint. The filter life, right? You're not going to get rich quick on the fucking shit. I don't give a fuck what the motherfucker's telling you. You're not going to get fucking built quick or that. Look, for me personally, it takes about 2 to 3 years to build a fucking pretty badass physique. The basis of it. Then what you continue from there just gets better and better and better and better and better and better. 2 to 3 fucking years. When I started at 16 to 23, I built the most fucking awesomest physique. But we're not talking going to the weight room fucking once a week. For the first 5 years, I was there 5 to 7 days a week, right? Training mitts and bodybuilding. So I never did less than 4 days of bodybuilding. That's just what my trainers used to train me on. So it's what you put into it. So you got to create something that's going to be a lifestyle that's a fucking balance. Even the shit that at the level that me and him train, at the level, honestly, it's semi-sustainable, but I don't really think for the average mind. You correct me, Cole. I don't know if you think you agree with me or not. I don't know how it's might not too bad, I guess, because I'm throwing in an additional 2.5 times on my own that I train here, right? Like my core and stuff and the boxing portion. But I don't think I'd be able to keep the leanness if I didn't throw that in there.
Yeah, lean definitely. Well, like I always watch. I'm like, man, you look leaner, but you're getting bigger. And I think it's the cardio aspect that you're doing with the boxing and everything else. If that wasn't there, it'd be hard to stay lean. You'd probably just be getting even bigger. I mean, you're huge already, but um, one of the things that you kind of made me come to mind was, and this is like the dead honest truth, is setting realistic goals. You know, your goal, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't care to look like The Rock. I think you've kind of told me you just want to do what you do, the things that you love, you know,
Yeah.
the fighting,
Yeah.
being quick on your feet if something was to happen, looking good when you walk around. Your goal is not to go and be Mr. Olympia
No.
2023.
No.
You know what I mean? And so
No.
setting your goals, realistic goals, and knowing what your goal is. Now, if your goal is to be Mr. Olympia 2024, whatever, I'm going to be honest, this is the path you have to take, and knowing what you're going to, you know, don't think you're going to be just eating fucking sprouts and taking this 25-gram protein and
No.
BCAAs, you're going to look like that. And what it really comes down to is kind of like how we talked about being smart and egotistical. And me, you know, not being natural, I can tell you that this is the importance of everything, is that say your goal is to be Mr. Olympia, and that is your goal, and that's what you truly want. It's about being smart and knowing the balance on what to take, when to take it, how much, you know. And this, there's a big thing, but basically knowing in your head, don't be sold these dreams of this is, you know, you're going to look like this, or thinking that, oh my God, look at that girl on Instagram, she's eating this and that or whatever. And I can tell you right now that those girls that you think have these amazing physiques, a lot of them take something. I'm not saying it's a lot, but there's at least probably one or two supplements that they are taking that probably isn't sold in stores, but there's a, you know, there's something behind it, and you may be sold and they tell you this and they tell you that I'm natural and I'm this. And honestly, that it's kind of stupid. It's not even kind of, it's super stupid, because you're creating this false image in people's heads that they can look like how you do, or you can eat this, or you can eat this pizza. For me, I'm like, you're stupid as fuck if you think you're gonna look like me naturally and do what I exactly that I do, you know. Do I run a whole bunch of shit year round? No, you know, I just take my testosterone. I'm happy right now. And that's the truth. You know, right now, I just do my testosterone. I'm happy. It helps me. It keeps me in the levels that I like to be at. But I do have to diet harder. You know, my diet, I have to be more strict. I can't just go out and have fun and do this and that. There are tricks to the trade, but knowing everything on my body and how it works, I know that as long as I do my cardio every morning, I can, you know, have a couple beers at night, or we can go out and have our fun at Papados and our salmon or whatever. And
but even the thing is, like, Kolohe, like, I can't do that. Like, if I'm not willing to put the extra work because I'm not running anything, right, I can't do what he does. I can't have the 2 beers even if I wanted to. I can have the one once a week, and I know that because I you know, the scale don't fucking lie. That's what I love with the scale, right? When you step on that fucker, it doesn't lie. You step on there the next morning and that's not in the dry weights are a little higher, you're fucking up, right? And so, like, but I know that. And so, like, I told him the other day, when I say I'm not wanting to walk around like fucking Mr. Olympia, not my fucking goal. But do I want to be in the top fucking 5 baddest motherfuckers out there? Fuck yeah. Like, to my capability, absolutely. Not Olympia, but if I want to be maybe John Cena, I could fucking do it. But at the end of the day, you got to know what you want, right? But I know consistently I'm going to put the bank, like what I'm talking about. But if I said, you know what, I want to look absolutely fucking exceptional, and I'm willing to fucking diet for 18 weeks fucking severely, it's going to look good. But there ain't going to be one beer in there. It's going to be fucking massive dieting, right? Because that's what it fucking takes. I know what it takes. It sucks. It very much sucks, right? I remember eating fucking tuna cans all the fucking time, little bit of baby rice. This is how much sweet potato, and I got fucking ripped. But that's the long way. But again, do people want to do that? And I also know, right, in the times when I was getting ready to go another time, with the right mixtures of like salt, like I'm not salt here, fucking Kolohe says pharmaceuticals, you could also eat pizzas and fucking burgers and be twice as ripped as the one died in 21 weeks. That's just the fucking reality. And I think that why we wanted to bring this subset on the fitness side is so that you don't feel bad about yourselves, guys. Like, be your better self of who you are and don't compare yourself to any of this. At the end of the day, it's like genetically, what are you predisposed to? And like what Kolohe is saying, if you're genetically not a certain level and you're this little tiny guy and someone's telling you, you know what? If you take all these proteins and you take all these BCAAs and you take all this creatine, you're going to be the better self, but you're not going to have the fucking size like this. Like, that's just impossible. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? You are literally setting yourself up for failure, right? It's like working at all subs and saying, you know what? I'm going to buy a fucking Lamborghini. That doesn't make any sense. You're in sales, you're fucking killing it, you might get there. So it's just about those achievables so you don't miss the rap. I think the end of the day is like, but again, it's the whole thing about talking about genetics and saying how much time. Because it's funny, because when I was working out, Kolohe got sick. He got sick, then he fucked me up. I did this just for the record. I was out there working out, and these younger guys are coming up to me and they're asking me these questions, and it's funny because they assume that I'm running the fucking sauce because I'm hanging out with them, and I said, look, let's get to the point. I said, look, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was running the sauce, I would be fucking about 255 pounds. Like, that's not like, you just look at my bone structure, right? I'd be 255 like a monster. You think these fuckers are big? I know what level it is. Not to put the feather in my hat, my brother was 290 pounds, right? That tells you the size of motherfucker I come from. But I also know that if you see a little skinny fucker, I'm not going to look like him. Like, that's just not going to happen either. You see what I'm trying to tell you? And this is where I used to tell people, know where you're at in your life. Know what your abilities are and be happy with them. Like, am I going to be sitting over here saying I'm going to be the fucking center of a basketball team? No, that's fucking ludicrous. It's fucking ludicrous. All you're doing is set yourself for failure. And those are the things in this fitness journey, what I've learned is, but what I loved about in this fitness journey is it just makes you feel good in your mind, makes your body feel good, makes you feel clear. You put that hard day worth of work and your mind's all foggy and you fucking hit it again, get out of your system. You just feel so much better. So that for me, like I told him, he says, what's the goals? The goals are easy. I said, look good. I'm going to eat whatever the fuck I want in moderation. Again, people listening out there, I'm not eating fucking bonbons and Long John Silvers all day, but in the moderation of life, of what I call a healthy balance, I'm talking about so people ask me, Jack, what's your favorite food? It's motherfucking burgers. I could eat a filet mignon and lobster every fucking day. There's no dollar value to me. But I'm like fucking Popeye. Burgers are my favorite thing of all time. There's nothing for me, whether it's a Freddy's burger, a Lotta burger, a fucking Owl Cafe. I don't care. There's a burger, I don't know what it is. Burgers and fries are my favorite thing. You could literally come to me and say, do you want a filet mignon with a lobster or do you want a badass burger? I'm taking the burger. I don't know what it is. I just love burgers, right? So in that said, I want to be able to eat burgers 3 days a week. So I'm going to bust my fucking ass hard for the burgers. And I'm going to drink a Dr. Pepper too. I like it.
You know what I think it comes down to is that balance. Because when I was getting ready for that show, we can go back on that. You saw me eating out and still eating stuff, but I had to lower my carbs throughout the day. Even though I was still taking stuff, like I said, I still there's balance with everything. It doesn't matter whether you're natural or you're not. You can't just eat whatever. Like I see a lot of guys in the gym, and this is the one thing that I don't like is they think, oh, well, I just need to take this. So they take like 10, 20 different things, but there's no results because at the end of the day, you still have to put work in. It doesn't matter whether you take a bunch of stuff or you take nothing. It's kind of like if you think about genetics and a car, you're given a 4-cylinder, a V6, a V8, or a V12. Jack, he was given a V12 genetically. So naturally, his engine is just a beast. But for other people, it's like, if you're given a V8 and you're barely pushing the gas, you're not really going to get far, Or even if you had the V12 and you're taking all this stuff and your engine it burns more fuel. I think of the food like fuel, and so you have a V12 now because you're taking 12 different things. But if you're not putting in that work, you're not pushing the gas, you're not going to go anywhere. So now you're just putting all this stuff in you for nothing, really. Or these people that they take a bunch of different stuff, but their diet is just shit because they're not disciplined. They want the easy route. So they think, okay, I'm just going to take a bunch of shit. I'll eat a lot. I'm going to lift heavy, whatever, but they still don't look great. There's a process. It's like a mathematics equation. And that's kind of how I look at things when I'm getting ready for a show. It's what you're running, the work that you're putting in, and your diet. That all has to equal out and balance out right. Now, if you're running stuff, your metabolism is burning a lot higher. Your engine is burning a lot higher. So yeah, you can afford to eat those pizzas and ration. It just depends. Some people that compete, they don't even like to cheat at all. For me, I'd rather not be miserable. I don't care what anybody
Yeah.
says. If I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do that fucking chicken rice broccoli thing. I went on stage and I fucking smoked people that are all miserable for 16 weeks. And I'm like, hey, I got ready in 6 days. Who's really winning in life? I don't even care if you beat me, because at the end of the day, I was happy the whole time, smiling. And I didn't, you got one life. And the thing that you can never get back in life is time. And that's how I look at it. If I'm going to do anything, I'm at least going to enjoy the process. It may not be fun the last 6 days. And then even when we talked about when we came back into each other's lives, when we first met each other, we weren't even working out. We were just like brothers hanging out, would have a good old time, laugh, whatever. And then the gym thing came in. It's funny because I knew even myself, I knew what it took to get to where I needed to be. And I knew my focus wasn't there. So I was kind of like in this middle of, do I do it? Do I not? But then me and Jack started working out. And that's why it's so key to have somebody in life that pushes you and that makes you really just the life aspect. And one of the things that I wanted to say too before was we talked about leadership and everything, and you just celebrating the 17 years. And this is one thing that I really wanted to say was a good leader will create a great team. He'll create a great people to go out there. But that superior leader, that just one of a kind leader, he doesn't just create a great team, he creates more leaders. And that's, I think, what I see Jack doing and how he's been able to grow so fast with everything he's done. He's got leaders out there, and I don't know if we can disclose information, but we'll just say other states out there. There's other places that he has running, but he's created great leaders, and they're the ones now running, and those leaders are creating more leaders. And that's what, if something special, if you can duplicate yourself and try to recreate yourself. And Jack was talking about leaving a legacy behind. It's such a powerful thing if you can create that and instill that in someone else. And when I was just being with Jack, and I kind of thought, man, here's this guy, busy as heck, not making excuses. And even for me in just my work life, I'm like, dude, why am I settling? I'm nowhere even near Jack financially. And I'm over here thinking life is cherry and I'm on this living this good old life. And I'm like, here's Jack, way financially better off, but he's still pushing every day. He's still here in the gym every single day. And I thought to myself, dude, Kolohe, you're getting comfortable. And that's a dangerous place to be, And I always used to tell myself, it's the habits that we create. And I think it's you getting in that habit. You're just such in a habit of, with business, and then even in the fitness aspect, you're in there every single day. And I remember, made me think to myself how I even got to where I am. And financially, I was always told myself, you're homeless tomorrow. If nothing's never promised. Just like fitness, if you're not in the gym every single day working out, you're gonna eventually lose it.
You lose it. That's what's sad. You lose it, right? And I think that's the thing, Kolohe, like what I look at in my life. Like, look, today we're gonna end this podcast, probably go to lunch. We gotta go hit shoulders. Am I fucking over here hoorah throwing a big old fucking party that we're gonna go throw shoulders? My mind's saying fuck shoulders, but no, we gotta do shoulders, right? It is what it is. But do you see what I'm trying to tell you? But the consistency, we want to look the shoulders. We want to fucking, we sit right there, we want to show the shoulders, right? They're not gonna show if we don't fucking get in there. That's just fucking as it is. And you're right. But the thing about it is not getting comfortable. And the thing about it is not getting comfortable. And I never comfortable in anything I do. I don't even shoot for the stars. I just say consistent. And it's crazy because our styles are working out, right? Like he's doing this and I tell him, I'm going to do this old school. And it was funny because they said a lot about his personality. He's consistent and he's killing everybody, but he liked to be on the machines. And I'm like, okay, he doesn't like unracking and taking this shit off. But I'm going to break him of that fucking habit. So we're going to do shit a little harder.
I just like using good timing over here.
It wasn't the timing. I said, okay, we're going to do this. But literally, our strength, the tendons, the health, and all that is getting better because we do a lot of mix, right? A lot of compound isolation kind of shit. But it's cool because at the end of the day, for us, we're right there. And so people tell me, well, can I work out with you guys? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, why not? I said, because you haven't earned the right to get there. And they're probably like, fuck this guy, right? In their mind. And I was trying to explain to them, the pace is so fast that the first time in a long time, and this all started off with Gibbs, where I'm not the one pushing the fucking train. And I'm now in the point of my life where I don't want to be pulling the fucking ship. I want to be alongside the ship, like Vikings. And so we're in the gym. It's two Vikings going at it. Like, we're rowing in, the 50 or 100. But the most of the time I'm doing the motivating. Like, you got this in you. Like, get up. Are you up this morning? And I thought to myself, that's not my personality. That's his personality. He likes that. He's good at that. I realized that's not who I am. I realized where I'm at in my life is I'm really a leader of an army that's ready. That's who I am. Like, literally the army's ready. And that's why I got the name the fucking general. But you have to have people in the training aspect. Like Kolohe, like when I look at life, he's a guy that's really good at working with people. I watch him. It's his gift. Like the lady now pushing the sled and all that. I'm like, fuck, he has that thing of his personality that I don't have. That I don't even, I kind of have it, but not really. It'd be a lie. I'm good with working with people who are already there, but not really the ones coming from the bottom. My patience isn't there. And so I realized that, and I was like, that's what makes us so different, right? But he's in there, and he makes all these people where they're fucking laughing. I'm watching. If you watch him on fucking Instagram, you could just watch a whole TV show all day long, right? But all these people are in there pushing themselves at their limit, and they're like, and he doesn't let them get excuses. We got, I'm not going to mention any names, but she works at Papa Do's, and he's like, we're not going to make no excuses with your sweat. Get your shit in there. And I laugh because you know what? If he wouldn't push her, I don't know if she'd be in there consistent. And he doesn't and so it's all about bettering other people too. And he's got that personality, right? And that's fucking awesome of you, dude, because I do commend you on that because I don't. I probably let you on the wayside drowning, right? I'm like, nah, you suck. You can't row the boat. I'm out of here.
Well, I think that's why I make a great team, because there's that balance, right? We're on the opposites, and so we meet each other in the middle. You're the monk, and I need more of that myself, because you know me, I'm always get a little Hollywood at times. You're like, hey, settle down over there. It's like Monster, his dog. Yeah. He's over there having to calm me down. And then for me, I'm always talkative, so it kind of gets Jack out of his comfort zone, because he has his bubble. And if you get in that bubble, he's gonna get you don't want to be in striking range. But it's got him more to open up, and it's cool because most people are intimidated by Jack or think this, whatever they got in their head. But they say, wow, he's actually really, really nice, even though he looks intimidating, and which I think that's how Jack likes to be. He's like, as I am, it's just make sure you press the right buttons and you don't get a little wild. So it's nice because even for me, we have each other's back. I'm kind of watching and this and that. And, we have our little fun, but there's a great balance in between us. We have this great, even like you're talking about, one of my clients, she's like, you guys have like the yin and the yang, that was us. And so it's, cool, and we push each other, but we don't, like you said, the insults and everything, we don't banter. Just like I was gonna throw little jokes out there, like Jack don't want my shoulders to get bigger than his, so he gotta make sure he's in the gym pushing himself.
That's all. But I just hit him back and says, just like my triceps or no? I said, so but that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean, Nikki, and we're gonna close this. But what do you see? Like, you've been a bit around the camp. Like, what do you see in this new fitness thing going on? Like, what do you see, Nikki? Give us we want the 101. We don't want no bullshit.
I really think that you guys are onto something, to have someone that's like two eras kind of working together. It's kind of creating a new thing in a sense. You get that in root, really hard stem working. I mean, to shovel or carry wood is takes a different type of strength, to a guy that's just ready to go walk on stage to a fitness thing at any moment, and your guys' dynamic. I think it's something magical happening. It's like creating two worlds clashing into one, where it's so motivating, but it's fun. Like, you guys make me want to go work out. I'm
hey,
I want to have that gym partner, baby. And I'm super blessed when I had my friends. There's such a different powerful dynamic when I'd work out with my certain group, that it was you created monsters, right? And then there's the ones where you could tell they're dragging to the next machine, and I just had to kind of do my own thing. But I think something magical is happening. I don't know what this is or what it could become, but I really think it's really cool to see two different worlds, two different dynamics kind of create this new workout kind of
it's funny, I never told this guys, but I had an old friend of mine reach out to me on social media, and he's a fucking big time champion, right? Big time champion in bodybuilding and in kickboxing. He wants to stay disclosed. He told me that shit. And he says, I watch you guys, and he's like, you know who you guys remind me of? I'm like, this fucker, because he used to like to joke a lot, right?
Yeah.
And he's hearing me out there, I've caught you with a few body shots in your life. And he told me this, and he says, you're like Dolph Lundgren in Rocky 5. And this guy is literally the guy in Creed. Like, and he says, and it's really like that two dynamic, right? To this, you're like, like they used to fucking call me like they're just like the machine, right? No emotion, like no, it's like there. And it was, when I thought about that, I was like, that's fucking actually pretty true.
Yeah.
Right? I'm literally like Dolph Lundgren in that movie, like just fucking, and he's like the new Creed. But the dynamic is fucking cool because it like really creates a synergy for people that are getting into it to know that it doesn't matter which school of thought you come, you still got to put the fucking work in it. Mm-hmm. Whether it's my kind of rigid style, right? Don't fucking talk, timer, fucking write it down, or it's his new style. You still got to put the work. Absolutely. So find whichever one works for you, but there's value in both. So if you're a lackadaisical motherfucker and you can't get up on your own, then you're probably gonna have to take my style, more of a rigid approach. If you're more regimented, then you could take more of a fun approach. But like Kolohe on his own, like when I watch him, like, I'll get in his ass and what the fuck are we through? But he's just there on his own. Like he gets it. You don't have to be searching him. But the majority of humans don't have his personality and his consistency, which always freaks me out. Yeah. Because they're more like fucking talking shit, but don't show up, but he's there. Yeah. So like, I think that's something for people to learn in our future fitness stuff is like, you can learn the styles, but kind of mold yourself to who you really are, who your personal one is.
I like I like how you said know who you are, because my thing is even when I've gotten ready for shows, it's people are watching because they're like, oh, well, you get ready in this quick. Well, I wonder how you'd get ready for a show if you took 12 or 16 weeks. And me mentally, I'm like, dude, like I could have this and that, whatever you see me 12, 16 weeks, but I'm like, just the person that I am. I'm like, for one, it doesn't take me that long. I know for a fact. I know I don't want to, it's going to be miserable trying to maintain a crazy physique for 8 weeks or something crazy. But not only that, the reason why when I've back to the military days, when we talk about special operations and all this stuff that you've done and everything, one of the things and I think that's funny when you say you put the fire under me and I put the fire under you, is I work best under pressure. I like the rush of like, ooh, I got to push myself. And I'm not saying do that everything in life. You don't ever want to procrastinate. Yeah. But for me, I know that if I want to land, if I'm a plane, I want to land right on that airstrip. I don't want to be coming too short where I'm having to coast along the river, like water at 100 feet above. I want to land right on the money. But I like that pressure of just waiting, and people don't know. And then they're like, they don't see me coming. I just come at the last minute and I just come in hard. Boom. But it's really when it comes down to, knowing yourself and knowing my body and how long I can wait, how long I can hold off, what I can eat and get away with. And I like the burgers and this and that because I like to get in people's head. They're like, how the fuck is he doing this? I'm eating this stupid diet and I'm hating life, but he's over there getting shredded, And they're probably taking more supplements than me, honestly, because I know what a lot of people take. And I know they're on some other crazy level stuff. But I'm like, nope, I'm going to do this and that. And I know exactly what I need to do to get to where I want to be, and how I want to look. And for me, just like you said, I want that longevity. I want to, like right now, I would say I don't look bad, but I want to have that longevity where I'm healthy, 10 years down the road. I can still look like Jack, be happy, fit, swole, and living life and enjoying all the luxuries that life has to offer that I worked hard for. So
you both have the lifestyle. I think that's a common denominator is you guys actually live it. It's not some people get into, I want to work out, let's say like this little moment and then it goes away, right? Like you both actually live the lifestyle. And I think that's what the best thing is. Even in like your guys' financial kind of mindset, very investment, like you guys actually live it. You guys are it. You're just being authentically your guys' self. And I think that's why your guys' dynamic works so well. It does,
because what's funny is I gotta laugh as I'm putting it like this. So we're at that place. I forget the name of shit. We're at that bar, right? And I laughed at him. I said, dude, I brought the fucking diamond game to this game. You were in diapers. I fucked with him. He wasn't in diapers, but he was in mid school. And it was funny because we're at what's the name of the fucking place we went again?
With Papados?
No, the nightclub thing.
Oh, Canvas.
Yeah, I can't
Canvas.
fucking. So we're at Canvas, and this is funny as fuck because It's me, him, and Jasmine. And Jasmine turned around and said, I almost fucking mistaked you for Kolohe. It was a true or not.
It's true.
She said, because it's just so crazy. He's like, because when you think about that, this is his fucking wife, right? So it is that whole of the lifestyle, right? Like the lifestyle. And so to me, I took that as a compliment and said, you know what the fuck? It's because I stood on my fucking game. But what I'm talking about, you have to be around people that are going to make you better in that subset. And that's what he represented to me. Like Kolohe represented to me in that subset. I said, this is what I want. This is what I want the fucking to do this. Like this is going to be our lifestyle. Fitness. I'm going to teach him the responsibility of this, the other financial shit, and we're going to circle it all around, but it's completely the lifestyle. It's like when he comes to pick me up, he has a badass fucking car. He has a badass AMG. There's nothing to talk about. When you got all these morons talking about, well, I got this, and I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. That's the baddest fucking Benz I've seen, period. There's nothing to talk about. But when I step in, I don't have to be the driver. I don't even like to drive. I can't come get me, right? And then he's like, take me in the Lambo. Okay, well, we'll do that one day. But it's kind of funny because that's what I'm talking about. In his own right, it's there. And that's the cool part. It's not that I'm saying it's about the car and all that, but it's, to me, it says, you know what? Here's a fucking younger bull in the game reminding me of what I was doing my whole life. And it's okay. And that's what I tell him in the fitness game, in this game, who gives a fuck? Measure yourself. Be the best you can be. And just knock it out.
I think it comes down to, remember when you said that people really aren't proud of you. They're not really proud of you. They just wonder how you keep doing it. And I think that's a big part comes down to that is with me and you, we genuinely love seeing each other win. Like Jack is at this next level, like superior level, but it's almost unbelievable. Like, what's next? You know, what's next, Jack? You know? And so, but even for me, he knows that I'm never like, oh man, Jack's already there. Like, God, he keeps going. Like, no, I get excited when Jack tells me what he's got going on, and I'm proud of him, even though he doesn't need anybody proud of him. And I know and to me, it's different because I'm like, you know what? A lot of people, they probably act like they're proud, but just like you said, but I'm genuinely excited for Jack that here's this dude that's at the ceiling and now he just broke through the roof, you know? So it's crazy. And Jack's always, there's no jealousy no matter what we're doing, whether it's financial or fitness or anything. We genuinely, I think, love to see people win in life. And even like my other friends, and Jack kind of looks at it, and it happens a lot in the fitness world. He's like, what the fuck? All of you are like jealous of each other. There's this weird dynamic, not with me, but people are jealous of me. But for me, I'm like, no, I generally just want to see you win. You know, I don't care if you pass me in fitness, go get this or whatever. You go to the Olympia stage. That's cool. You know, if that's your goal, great. It's not my goal. I'm happy with just, if I can, as long as I look good without my shirt at the pool or the beach or whatever, I'm winning in life. But you know what? The big thing is I'm like, and if you really want to chop and throw stones at each other, I'm like, you know, you look like that for 2 weeks out of the year, but baby, I walk around like this, you know? So yeah. I said, I'm always looking like I'm on a stage. The stage is right here, right now.
And that's what I told
always ready for battle.
That's what I told him at the end of the day. That's me. You know what? I may not step on that stage, but I'm out there in the fucking crowd. They're like, holy fuck, that must got maybe a contender. When I went with him to that show, people were asking, what the fuck are you doing? Or this and that. That's all I need. In my heart, I'm like, oh, fuck, you're worried. They're like, is Floyd Mayweather coming back? We don't know. Right? Is Floyd Mayweather coming back? That's the question. Because there's a lot of time in him. We didn't say he was turning 54. There's a lot of time in him. So is Mayweather coming back is the question. With that said, guys, thank you for joining us. I hope this is a lot of information for you. Send us fucking messages. Kolohe loves it. Send it to him. He's got his Instagram out there, the Fit Prodigy. Send him those questions. He's going to fill those questions for you. I probably won't fill them for you. Don't get fucking pee-pee hard with me. I suck at messages. You guys already know that. So we're out. This is the truth. This is the fitness edition. Good to have you guys.